great week. This week we're back and we're talking about impulse control, specifically as it relates to the leave it command and how to teach your dog the leave it command. I worked on this with our foster dog Freddie in 2 different sessions, so one was last week and then one was today. I put this together for you as a step-by-step example of how to really start to teach your dog leave it. Foster Freddie with me right now. He just got in from running around outside, so he's tired, which is good. This will help him, but he's hot too, so hopefully he can muster up some energy to help me out with this. So today we're working on that impulse control. This is the first day with him. So like I mentioned before, the key is to have something of little value, in this case kibble, and then of higher value, in this case a treat that has a lot of smell to it that he enjoys. And so you're going to use that low value kibble as the thing that he wants to leave, because there's less likelihood of him actually wanting to go after it, which sets him up for success. And then you're going to reward with that higher value treat. And so how this looks in the beginning, Freddie, are you up enough? He's literally passed out on his side. Come here, Freddie. Leave it. Okay, so how this is gonna look is you're gonna take that treat, and first, depending on your dog, there's a few different ways that you can start this process. So now that he's a little more awake, you're gonna have your fist closed around that treat. And if your dog is really interested in it, you're gonna tell them leave it. And the second that they back off of your hand of sniffing and trying to get at it, that's when you'll say yes and give them the treat. If your dog isn't super interested, you can start with an open palm and do that same thing. Just make sure that if they go to grab that treat, you close it really quickly, because you don't want them actually succeeding and getting the treat. And it's gonna be the same process. You're gonna say leave it, and then you're gonna reward the second that they stop showing interest in it. And then kind of that third step to it is putting it down in front of them, saying leave it, and then rewarding when they do. Again, you don't want them to get the reward of the kibble that they're supposed to leave. So you'll want to be paying close attention. You want to be able to cover it if you need to, and then ask for the leave it again. And the second that they step away from it, that's when you will say yes and give them the treat. And so this is just them figuring out first that if they leave what you tell them, there's probably something better in store. And so as we build up for this, when you tell them to leave it, then you can work with praise as the reward, or later, like I did with Rooster in the kitchen last week, he eventually did get the carrot that was on the floor. He just had to wait until I gave him the okay. So with Freddie, we'll go ahead and start with our palm out. Freddie, leave it. He's very tired. Leave it. Good boy. Maybe too tired. Freddie, leave it. Good boy. Okay. I was able to get him up. So we're gonna say, leave it. Good boy. So it's just, in the beginning, it's just a split second where he dropped his head and ignored it. Leave it. That's my ring. Good boy. Yes. So then I just continued this for the next few minutes and working with Freddie on the leave it command and rewarding him when he did. Good boy. So you can see that it's not taking him very long to figure out that if he ignores this hand, something better comes out of this hand. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Oh goodness. You should chew your food better. Leave it. So you can see where I started to increase the challenge for him and just continued to work on making it more challenging. Now the reason why I don't reward him in this instance when he looks away is because he's not really paying attention to the actual exercise. So when he looks back at me, that's when I mark it with a yes for ignoring the kibble and reward him with the treat. Hey guys, this is the second time that I'll be working on this leave it task with Freddie here, and this time he has a little more energy and I think a little less distraction. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get some really good examples of how this should look with your dog. So with Freddie, obviously he's a very large dog, and him being able to be right in my face is not ideal, and so I want to gently ask him to reposition himself. Good boy. Good boy. So Freddie doesn't know how to sit yet. He's not been taught how to sit. Ideally, you would put your dog into a sit position for this. Okay, so we're gonna say, Freddie, leave it. Good boy. And then he gets the better treat out of my other hand, just like the other day. Present the kibble, leave it. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. Try and reposition again so that you can see better. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. So with him, opening it is too much, it's too hard for him still. So we want to go back a step to where he was successful and start there again. That's my favorite now. Thank you. Leave it. Good boy. So I'm gonna try, like, it's really tempting being right in his face. We're always trying to set our dogs up for success. So if it's too hard with it being right here in his face, I'm gonna make sure he knows it's there and then lower it. Freddie, leave it. Good boy. And then up the challenge, leave it. So lower it. So we're just gonna keep doing what it takes to make him successful and make sure that he gets the other treat. Leave it. Good boy. So we just do the same thing. We just repeat that behavior and continue to challenge him as well as go back to set him up for success. So here is where he has the most successful job at leaving it when it was close up to his face. And then I just continue to go back and forth on challenging him with it being closer to his face and then further away. Don't forget to be using just like plain dry kibble in one hand and a higher value treat in the other hand. Alright, so now let's see if we can drop it. Leave it. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. So you can see where I just was covering the kibble that time, again, to set him up for success, but we're trying to up the challenge. So this may look like a couple of days for you, but because I want to be able to get this out there for you guys, I'm trying to push him a little bit more than might be what you can do with your dog in order to show you how this looks in a step-by-step process. Leave it. Good boy. We're just really trying to teach that impulse control. So this can then translate to if he sees a cat outside and I tell him leave it and he looks back to me for that better treat or that better reward. Leave it. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy. Oops. So you saw where I dropped the treat, well, he dropped it. So I grabbed it right away because I don't want to drop that treat and then let him eat that treat, because as you can see, I didn't let him eat these dropped ones. So we really want to work on not letting him be rewarded when food is dropped. Yeah, hi Freddie. Hi. He is really bad about being in your space. Super sweet boy. Leave it. Good boy. All right, so I'm gonna try and challenge him a little bit more and bring the kibble up higher. Some dogs dropping the kibble is really challenging for them. For Freddie, it honestly probably takes more effort for him to have to reach down to get the kibble than it is to be right in his face. Leave it. Yes, hi, thank you. Down to our last treat. Ready. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. So in that case, I'm trying not to just close my hand again. I'm trying to just remove it from him to not allow him to win that situation, but still kind of up the challenge. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. So in a more ideal situation, I would say that I would probably not be on the ground with him because it's so hard for him to not be in my face, but I can't get a good picture of he and I both in the frame because of how tall he is. So just be thinking about those things when you're working with your own dog. Okay, what is going to make this easiest for my dog to understand what it is that I'm asking of them and how they're going to get rewarded? So that's enough of this leave it command today. The next thing I'm gonna work with him today is waiting at the door. So he's already slowly starting to figure it out when we go on walks, but we're gonna go ahead, single him out, work with him one-on-one, and I'll show you what that process looks like. Next week, we're going to talk about kind of the second part of this, and that is teaching the wait command around doors and how you can translate that to every situation in which you want your dog to wait, whether that's coming out of the car, getting into the car, anything like that. I worked on that with Freddie as well, so I hope you'll tune back in. And in the meantime, enjoy your pup and have a great week.